What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are here finally for career mode once again. We're here for the Austrian Grand Prix this time. If you haven't seen the last episode, the French Grand Prix, go check it out. We had the very rare occurrence of the safety car, which is the only appearance I've had, well, the second appearance I've had in the entirety of this playthrough. The first of which came in Season 2, I think. It's completely unnecessary safety car, but it resulted in a very fortuitous result for us last time out in France. The spoiler is already up on screen. I apologize, but you should have clicked away already. But anyway, here we are for this race. The Austrian Grand Prix. I think we have a weight reduction upgrade which went on the car. Don't quote me on that. I probably got it wrong. It's been so long since I uploaded the last episode, which I very much apologize for. But heading into the Austrian Grand Prix, I've got a lot of confidence heading into this one. I feel like we're set for a really good result. No, I remember what the upgrade was. It was a major rear downforce upgrade. We did the weight reduction. We did the chassis stuff last episode in France. Anyway, I feel like we got a really good package for this race because that esports video I did a week ago, I've got an amazing setup here, and I feel like it's quite easy to perform up against the AI. As you can see there quite clearly, practice 2 going pretty well for us, topping that session. I'm not going to lie, we went all out in practice to get that time. I would be very much surprised if we're still there come qualifying and the race, but we'll wait and see. We still are the slowest car, but I got to say, at this point, the performance index really doesn't do it justice where our car truly sits in the field. I feel like we're not the worst car anymore. I feel like we're better than... Who's the worst car now? Maybe Mercedes. Mercedes is pretty bad at this point. Renault's pretty bad. I don't know. I'm waffling at this point. But yeah, we are better than where we are showing at this stage. It's just the way it goes. And so I hope that qualifying will be able to reflect that. Practice 3. I did all of my practice programs that I needed to do. I just simulated practice 3 just to get extra resource points at a cost of engine and gearbox wear, which really doesn't matter because our engine and gearbox has got all the upgrades applied for durability. So we've got 5 power units. We're not going to go through all of those in the season, so I may as well kill the environment and do extra running for some extra points. Hey ho, let's exploit the system. But anyway, let's go to qualifying for the Austrian Grand Prix.
Thank you for joining us once again for today's qualifying session. Sit back, relax, and enjoy what we hope will be a fantastic contest for pole position.
Thank you very much, Crofty. He wasn't talking to me, was he? No, he wasn't. But anyway, here we are for qualifying. We are set for a bit of a tricky afternoon. There is supposed to be some rain heading our way, and I think it's heading our way for the end of this session here in Q1. So I made it a priority to get some laps on the board early. You can see Daniel Ricciardo completely blocking the apex of the corner in the middle sector. I pull out of his way, and then now he wants to be all gentlemanly and let me go through, but there's a fast car coming through of Sebastian Vettel, which has really set us back by a little bit in this session. We have to repair the front wing, which takes a couple of minutes. We send ourselves back out there, and thankfully the track is still dry, but yes, it will be raining towards the end of the session. I don't want to leave anything to chance. I want to have another go at this on a new set of tyres and hope that that is enough to get us through to qualifying 2. I don't want to leave this too late because as soon as you get even the tiniest sprinkle of rain, the grip just isn't there. So I just want to make sure I get the absolute best of the conditions I can get. We come across the line and we get P13. It was a nervous wait for the rain. I went out on a used set of softs to save a brand new set of softs if I made it through to Q2. Never improved, but thankfully the original time that I set that you guys just saw, that was confusing, was good enough to get me through to qualifying 2. Danny Kvyat as well, very, very close to what I set, only a tenth away. So that shows the progress that Toro Rosso is making. Even my teammate now, Danny, he's not the greatest driver in the world. Like his AI skill rating or whatever value that they put in the code isn't the greatest driver in the field, but even he is getting dangerously close to making it out of qualifying 1. So that really does show the leaps in performance we've been able to make we're finally able to show that here at this racetrack. France was never going to be a good round for us because the AI is so strong there, but we managed to pull out a good result out of that race, and I'm hoping for more of the same here. But anyway, qualifying 2 is reigning for the majority of this session. It looks like it might be line ball as to whether we can get out on a set of soft compound tyres right at the death of the session. You can see the delta is actually coming down. You can flick between the 2 tyres, and you can get a pretty accurate delta of when the dry tyres are going to be faster than the intermediates. I think we're just about at that point now. The soft is right on the cusp, right on the crossover point of being faster, and that is with 2 minutes to go. So we're going to send ourselves out, and by the time we get around, do a lap and start our fast lap, the dry tyres should be significantly faster than what the intermediates could ever offer up until this point. So this is the dream scenario for any kind of backmarker team that is, struggling to be competitive. These kind of conditions is what throws up so much unpredictability and will give us a chance, maybe, of getting through to qualifying 3. Now, there are a couple of people, some of the front-running teams, who have just banked their times that they've got on intermediates, and they don't feel the pressure, they don't feel the need to go out there on soft. Some people were actually still out there on intermediate tyres while the crossover period was happening, and so they weren't able to get out there and switch to dry tyres in time. Max Verstappen was one of them. Lucas Weber was not. He's on dry tyres. He goes to provisional pole position in this Austrian Grand Prix. I was leaving this to the absolute latest moment I possibly could to start my flying lap to give myself the best chance of getting through to the next session. The McLarens have been caught out there on intermediate tyres, and they're going to be absolutely nowhere. We come through the final corner. We're 2.5 seconds up as we open DRS and run up to the line. Is it good enough for Q3? You bet it is. P7 in the Austrian Grand Prix in the slowest car. And that is, believe it or not, our first Q3 appearance in Season 4 of F1 2019 Career Mode. So there we go. Best results. We move on to Q3, and as expected, we were nowhere. It was fully dry. We only had one run at the end of the session with a free set of tyres, and yeah, we were the slowest car left in the qualifying. So that was the result. But I think with that, that'll still be our best starting position all season. It'll give us a good platform to build upon for the race. I'm hoping I can stay in the slipstream and DRS of those faster cars, and who knows, maybe even hold on to a point, but I feel like we may be going backwards a little bit. So it'll be a very interesting dynamic as we move on to the race with the Austrian Grand Prix. Wish me luck.
What a beautiful backdrop to a motor race. We're here in the Styrian Mountains, of course, and they've watched over some cracking races throughout the history of this Grand Prix. Controversy, of course, think back to 2002, but also great joy. Do you remember Niki Lauda's historic home victory in 1984? And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. So I should probably start by asking you about Lucas Weber. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
Well, Weber has a reputation for consistency that goes back to his days in F2. But as we've seen before, being consistent and consistently winning F1 races can be two very different things. Every weekend poses its own challenges, and how he deals with those will have more impact than his performance in the last race.
You should have some space going into the first corner, so try to keep it tidy.
Thank you, Jeff, and welcome, guys, to the Austrian Grand Prix. I feel like the commentators are, like always, talking about Lucas Weber lately. The pressure is on, of course, being in a pivotal front-running car, and when faced up against Max Verstappen. He's been so close in so many championships. This has to be the one where he gets the W. It will be interesting either way, because Lucas has never won a championship, and I've never had Max Verstappen ever win a championship in any of my career modes. So this will be interesting no matter what happens this season. But 5 red lights, and away we go. At the Austrian Grand Prix, it looks like we got promoted up into P9 by virtue of a grid penalty. I believe it was Sebastian Vettel, who we're running 3 wide with, Hulkenberg and Vettel. That is, through turn 1. Hulkenberg gets an amazing run out of turn 1. We ran out wide. There was just no space for 3 cars to fit in there, and so we have to slot in behind the 2 Haas drivers. We get up the inside of Sebastian once again, who was going a little bit slow on the run into turn 3, but he gets us back anyway around the outside. The Haas is just so damn quick. There's no point trying to contest with these guys, but hopefully I can perhaps follow them through and just pick off any cars that they overtake. Really, the next threat, I would say, or the next car that we could realistically race is Devin Butler, and you can see him under attack from Vettel as he heads into turn 1. Vettel, got pinched on the inside there. Couldn't get the exit he wanted. I couldn't get the exit that I wanted either. And now Daniel Ricciardo swoops in and steals P11 in this opening couple of laps here. Can we go back up the inside? No, it's not really a smart play. We'll try and do the switchback and get a nice punchy run out of turn 3. But again, the drive traction, I don't know, is it the traction initially out of the corner is amazing as we run side by side into turn 4. And then lose the back end. I just don't have any drive out of 3rd, 4th gear for some reason up against the AI. Here comes my teammate up the inside into the middle sector. Danny Kvyat, like the torpedo he is, has escorted me wide. And we now drop into P13. We are going absolutely backwards in this Austrian Grand Prix. Danny Kvyat flying through the field. He was, P16, P17 after qualifying, and he's already in front of me. So there's been a vast disparity between the 2 teammates. He has got all the momentum, and I'm just falling like a stone in water, it seems, in this race, as we can see Carlos Sainz going up the inside into turn 1. I just need a moment to relax. I've been under attack this entire Grand Prix. Like, I haven't had a moment at all to really settle in this race. Here's the replay. Got a bit tangled up after getting overtaken by Ricciardo. Then my teammate hit me wide. Lost the position to him. We lost the place to one of the Alphas, and then we fell under attack from the McLarens, as you guys saw. Yeah, this was absolutely mental. Here's the replay again from Kvyat's on board. I tried to squeeze him to stop him from going from the move, but Kvyat had other ideas, and he goes up the inside. It's I guess it's a rare opportunity for Danny to actually get a leg up on his teammate. He's been getting absolutely battered so far in the opening half of the season, so let's see what he can do, and let's see what I can do, to be honest, because now we're finally starting to settle into a rhythm. This is the first, lap in anger where we actually haven't really been attacked. Actually, in saying that, we're now falling under pressure from Carlos Sainz as we head into the penultimate corner, but we managed to fend him off there. Not really sure what it is, to be honest. I feel like we've got a decent amount of straight line speed. We do lose a little bit of time through the high speed left-handers in the middle sector, so maybe not running enough downforce relative to those around us. But apart from that, I feel like we've just got a good car. It's just like I couldn't get in a rhythm. I couldn't get a finer groove. But now we seem to be finding that as we now get past our teammate, and we are now into P13. What an odd start to a Grand Prix. We finally get our feet on the ground, and now we can start to, I don't know, get some momentum in this race and just see if we can make a charge back towards the points. It'll be interesting to see what Danny does from here, Danny Kvyat, now that he's lost some of his momentum and he's been overtaken by not only myself, but I believe he got overtaken straight away by Carlos Sainz as well. So I hope that Danny doesn't completely fall into the abyss of being overtaken by everyone. It's just a really weird scenario we found ourselves in. But we're in the slipstream now. We've got DRS, thankfully, on Devin Butler, and we'll be able to get towed along by him, hopefully, and hopefully pull us away from the rest of the field behind us and our teammate. And we'll hopefully cling on to a points finish if we're lucky enough. Around the outside into turn 4. Let's see if we can make this work. It looks like it might just about work for us as it's side by side between the two of us. Butler gets a better run, and he holds on to P12. So yeah, it's this is going to be the strategy. I think we made this work pretty well for us in seasons 1 and 2 in the Renault. We were elevated into a much higher position than what we should have been. It's simply down to the fact that there's 3 DRS zones all around the circuit, a very short lap time as well. So it's actually very, very hard to fall outside of the DRS window. So it makes following faster cars so damn easy. But anyway, we are attacking now Devon Butler. I feel like I've got a bit more pace. At this stage of the Grand Prix, we go up the inside, and we are through now for P12. So I wonder if our tyre wear is somewhat better than the Ferrari. We did make an upgrade to that area of the car in France, I believe. And now it's starting to show dividends. We can now see Devon Butler coming back at us up the inside to the penultimate corner. It's oh so close into the fast right-handers. And we just about managed to keep it clean. Devon gets back up the inside and moves up into P12. Here comes Carlos Sainz for good measure as well. We squeeze him right up against the pit wall there. He goes up the inside. He storms into P13. Only briefly though, as we get a much better run around the outside into turn 1. What a Grand Prix this is turning into, guys. Hit that like button if you are enjoying this battle so far. It's not over by a long shot, that's for sure. We've got quite the tasty train all around us, and Lewis Hamilton is going to join the fray at the back of the train as well, so he might be one to watch out for. Anyway, 12 laps into the race. Carlos Sainz is coming back at us. Thankfully, we still have the DRS on Devon Butler, though. That's really what's keeping us in the game here as we manage to fend off Carlos into turn 3, and we will live to fight another day. There's a yellow flag in the middle sector. It's Carlos Sainz. Oh, not Carlos. It's Lando Norris. I've said Carlos Sainz too many times over the course of this race. But Lando is out. So we're going to take this opportunity for an early pit stop and hopefully gain a free pit stop here, because there's more time to be gained by making a pit stop at this time. But it looks like the VSC is ending, which is unfortunate, because we had already committed to making the pit stop, and then it ended just as we entered the pit lane. So I'm hoping we made up at least a few seconds there. We'll see how it pans out later on in the race. We are only about 2 or 3 laps short of our pit window, so I thought it was worth the gamble. I mean, at worst, we'll get an undercut, and we might be able to get into the realms of the cars that were a few positions ahead of us, like Daniel Ricciardo, who we lost touch with earlier on in the Grand Prix. He's sat right behind Pierre Gasly, I believe. So we'll see how this works out for us. George Russell on the previous lap put on hard compound tyres. He will be absolutely nowhere for the rest of this race. But as we rejoin on the start-finish straight, you can see we jumped Devon Butler there. We just go right past him. And so it has been a net gain for us, but it might come at a cost of tyre wear towards the end of the Grand Prix. So that's something we'll have to be wary of. I'm hoping here that I can get in the slipstream, get in the toe of Daniel Ricciardo, and just have him pull me along for the rest of the race, and then I won't even need to worry about Devon Butler or the tyre wear, because I'll have an elevated average lap time. But it looks like he's just out of reach at this stage. 1.1 seconds away as he tussles away with who is it up ahead? I'm not too sure. I think it's one of the Renaults. But you can see now we are well and truly on the back of them. They had a really bad run through turn 3. We storm up the inside of Pierre Gasly, and that is us now into P10 in this Austrian Grand Prix. Pretty much our qualifying position. So yeah, if we can come away with some points today, that'd be absolutely marvelous. The pace isn't as good as what I first thought it would be. I thought heading into this race we might be able to hold on to this position that we've got, but in the back of my mind I kind of thought that we might go backwards a little bit, but I was hoping that wouldn't be the case. But after the race started, like, we literally went backwards, and so after that first few laps, I thought we were on for like a P15. But the fact that we've recovered so well to P10 and we're looking pretty good at this stage means that, yeah, it's just an added bonus compared to where we were. But here comes Kimi Räikkönen up the inside into the start-finish straight. No point fighting that. He is, yeah, ridiculously fast. That Alpha is just like the Haas. It's just way too quick for us to really contest with. I let him go straight away so I could get some slipstream DRS, and I was hoping that he'd hold up Ricciardo and get me back into the fray with him, but he actually overtook in a part of the track which didn't hold him up, and so we've not only lost touch with Räikkönen, but we've lost touch with Ricciardo, and now we are running in P11, which is a shame, really. But, we'll do our best. We'll see if we can hold on to this position if we can. We've got Devon Butler 2.7 seconds behind at the last clip. We fast forward to this one and he's right on our ass once again. So we'll see if we can hold on to P11. I'm going to fight for everything that it's worth here, because you never know what might happen towards the end of the Grand Prix. There might be a retirement, and if so, then we're promoted into P10. So I'm going to give this absolutely everything. Devon, we have our history, don't we, in F2 and even in earlier seasons of this career mode series, so we don't want to give him any kind of psychological or ego boost in this championship. But we do a nice little switchback there as he went up our inside into turn 3. We just let him have the corner. We focus on getting a better exit, and we just did the switchback to absolute perfection. Yeah, not really much else to say, really. The AI are really terrible, though, through turn 3, I won't lie. I almost feel like it probably needs to be patched. Sometimes they're just so slow, they give up too much time that it just looks a little bit silly on their part. But Devon manages to get back past us once again. He's into P11, and at this point we're just kind of struggling to hold on to his DRS and slipstream. We really are struggling for pace now. The tyres have gone off quite a bit. If this was a straight up 1v1 fight without DRS or slipstream, like, he'd be a good few tenths faster than us. So the DRS is well and truly keeping me in the fight here. Devon again going defensive into turn 3. You can see just how slow he is on the exit. I don't know what it is with the AI, whether it's wheel spin or whether they're just like not putting down enough power, but they just seem so slow at that section of the circuit. And hell, I'm not gonna slow down to like his pace and let him keep that advantage. I'm gonna take full use of that, aren't I? So I've got to make the most of this race. But anyway, we got 5 laps left. Devon, oh come on, man, he's gone back up the inside again. It's just, I don't know what to say. It's just constantly like backwards and forth, tit for tat, every single lap. It's going to continue again as we go into turn number 3 for the 31st time. We go around the outside this time, which I don't think we've done all race. And we actually make that work quite well for us. Butler gets a horrible run out of turn 3, but the slipstream and DRS is enough for him to make a comeback on the straight with the overspeed and nearly get me back. It's quite ridiculous. Here he comes again up the inside, middle sector, pace is nowhere. So this section of the circuit is where he'll get in front. I'm good in sectors 1 and 3, and so it's just a constant backwards and forwards battle on two guys who are, fairly equal on pace. Charles Leclerc is out of the race, which actually, having thought about it, he actually will promote one of us up into P10. Not sure who it's going to be come the end of the race, because it is constantly switching like Need for Speed, rubber banding, or Mario Kart, if you will. It is that level of just tit for tat every single moment. And here we go. This is our chance to get a point in this Austrian Grand Prix. Devon Butler is the man that is going to stand between us and some minor glory for this humble little team that is Toro Rosso. Slipstream. Let's see if we can get him here on the back straight. He's going to block the inside, so we're going to go clean around that outside into turn 4. If we can, we've locked up the inside front, but we do get the better run, the better traction, the better momentum, and it means we have the inside for the next left-hander, and Devon Butler cannot overtake us in the middle sector, which is where he's been so strong in the past. So here we go, 3 laps left after this one. We're getting dangerously close to being lapped, I believe. Our Red Bull is just 3 or 4 seconds behind, but I had no idea at the time. But that is something we will have to contest with in this Austrian Grand Prix. Again, Devon has the track position as we head into turn 3. Goes defensive once again. We'll just pull the same move we did a couple of laps ago, but this time Devon is not having a bar of it. He squeezes off the circuit onto the ripple strip. We get a horrible run, and that actually prevents us from overtaking on the back straight, and so Devon keeps track position as we head on to lap 34. We've got the Red Bull basically right behind us now. Again, around the outside. Let's see if we can pull this off this time. But again, Devon squeezing us off the track for the 2nd lap in a row. This guy, he's going to get a taste of his own medicine here. Let's go for the big boy dive bomb into turn 4. Absolutely yeeting him off the circuit.
He just came across in front of me. What's he doing? He's driving like a nutbag.
Yeah, you're the one who's driving like a nutbag, you prick. But anyway, we are through for P10. I didn't realize it at the time, but yet, like, we got lapped, but this is actually the last lap, but I didn't realize it almost while I was battling in this race. How could you blame me? I'm like side by side with this guy at every single opportunity. I've actually, on this lap in particular, I turned my engine down just to save some battery and some fuel for the last lap. But little did I realize this was the last corner. I nearly gave up the position as Max Verstappen wins the Austrian Grand Prix. We come through for a singular point. 1 point, and Jeff is speechless. I think he's passed out from all the stress.
Red Bull pulling out all the stops today. What a great win. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
So there we go then. Familiar territory once again. We have Red Bull dominating the podium. We have Sergio Perez getting P3. Here's, you gotta say, like, there's F1 and then there's Formula Red Bull right at the front of the field. I did have one brief clip at the midway point of the Grand Prix showing the two Red Bulls fighting for the lead. But this is the dive bomb we pulled on Devon Butler. I'll be honest here, this wasn't the cleanest of moves. We did make contact in getting past it, and from Devon's point of view, that looks pretty bad. But he didn't lose any damage. He didn't lose out too much. I think he actually re-overtook us at some point after that. But yeah, just gave him a taste of his own medicine after, you know, all the history we have at this circuit as well from F2. It's P10. It's another point. And when you're fighting for a point, you've got to go all in. Because if I just play it a little bit conservatively, or I, leave him too much space, he gets a position and I don't get him back, I get nothing. Like, I have absolutely nothing to show from that Grand Prix. So there was no way that I was going to give him half a chance of getting a point. Like, we work so hard over the course of the Grand Prix through setup work and improving your own skills, and the time they just put into getting to that point in the race, taking all those chances. There's no way you want to give up that opportunity to score a point. So we'll grab that with both hands. But that's been this Austrian Grand Prix. We've had some absolutely crazy races this season. That's just the nature of a Road to Glory series. You're right in the thick of it with the midfield, and you have to give it absolutely everything if you want to get the rewards. And we certainly have done so today. We actually passively passed the hard team goal, which was finish in P14. We'll get a bonus of 600 resource points. Not for this race, but I believe at the next race weekend, which will be certainly a massive momentum swing for us in our development race. 1,400 points to spend. On the topic of that, we can actually go for an ultimate weight reduction upgrade, which will go on the car in time for the Hungarian Grand Prix. So, fingers crossed, arms crossed, legs crossed, everyone at the factory crossed. Like, we need that part to go on. As soon as that goes on, that'll be a game changer for us this season. We should hopefully regularly be scoring points from that moment onwards that we get that part on. But we will see how it goes until we get to there. Thank you so much for watching. Absolutely crazy Grand Prix. And I hope that these battles will long continue into the rest of the season, and hell, even next season. The field is really tightening up, even though it doesn't look too close on the overall performance index. Qualifying was separated by, I think, 1.5 seconds down from first to last in the quali session in Q1. It was absolutely ridiculous. It strings out a little bit more in the race, you would understand that, but as everyone approaches, their ceiling, could we end up with an equal cars championship? I feel like, I don't know, maybe, but I'm really looking forward to the back end of the season where we can be even more competitive than what we are. The sky is the limit, I say. So let's see what we can do with this development path, and then, hell, yeah, I don't know. I'm waffling now. Thank you so much for watching. Really enjoying career mode at the moment. I hope you guys are too. I really need to upload this series a bit more, and I will endeavor to do so now that I've got a few things out of the way, if you have checked my social media recently. Anyway, till the next one, goodbye.